Hi everyone, welcome to video 25, session 6, Organizing Function. In the previous video, hope you understood the introduction of organizing, which includes definition, meaning and reasons why managers involved in the organizing function. So that was the previous class. So in this module, you will understand the process and principles of organizing function. When you look at the principles and process of organizing, there are certain principles. You can say that some components or some sequential activities. So these activities they follow in organizing function to oversee all organizational activities. So when you see the purpose of this module, as I mentioned, it is to learn the principles of organizing, right? There are certain principles, and at the same time, there is a process involved in the entire organizing function. So there is the starting to ending. There are many elements, various factors which are involving in the organizing function. So those things also you will understand in this module. So in this direction, let us just move further to understand the significance of organizations. Why the organization is so important, right? So, or why it is needed for the organizations. See, organizing function, first of all, it supports the overall administration of the organizations. It is to support the organizational activities, right? And it is completely provides the framework for the overall administration of the organizations. And at the same time, and it supports the growth and the diversification of all activities. So if you see the progress that is expected in the organizations, so the organizing function helps a lot to ensure that there is a progress in all activities of the organizations. So in this direction, the organization even clearly mentions that kind of the communication and what type of communication that supposed to be in the organizations, top to bottom or even down to up. So different communication networks and systems, how it's supposed to be, all these are clearly mentioned in the organizing function. So at the same time, the organizing function also involves the optimum utilization of resources, and in terms of using technology very effective manner, and then improving the overall activities of each and every job. So that is one important dimension. And at the same time, the organizing function, the function itself has a kind of the facility to stimulate the creativity of individuals. The people who are working in the organizations, so their creativity will be increased, so through this function. And at the same time, so this organizing function helps us to balance all the activities. So who is who and what is what, and how much each job is supposed to be, included in the overall activities of the organization. So such things are very, very clearly mentioned in the organizing function. And at the same time, the fosters the coordination. So when the organizing function is there, that helps the individual to coordinate all activities. So there are several activities, all the activities will be coordinated when we have the organizing function. So then further, if you see the principles of organization or components of organizations, so these components or principles indicates the sequential activities. You can see even the reflection of the process within all these components. So that I will explain, of course, in the next slide. But here, let me just bring out all these the principles for your understanding. The foremost, the principle of the organizing is determination and integrations. So first of all, determination of various activities. So deciding, determining, deciding, and then clearly specifying. So what are the different activities that are needed for our organizations? And at the same time, when you have on the whole all activities, so we have to see that how we can integrate all these activities. right? It is completely related to identifying activities and dividing all the activities. right? And when we have this in our hand, so then the next principle is looking at the specialization. So we just group all the whole activities of the organization based on some similarities. So for example, all marketing related activities and jobs under one category, that you can say that. So marketing division. So that is work division. So then similarly HR, even technical side like a mechanical, IT related, electrical related, electronics related. So each and every the division indicates a kind of specialization and the specific similar kind of activities. That is the second principle. So then the third principle is something related to leadership. So in the leadership, in the sense, when we have various activities under different classification and then specializations, so we need a kind of leadership to influence and then integrate all these different divisions that we identified in the organizations. And at the same time, we need to have a principle of span of control and then supervisions. So when we have different divisions, so then we have to identify that who is having more authority, who is having less authority, who is working under whose control, and then who is the supervisor, who is actually subordinate. So this type of things are very clearly specified in the organizing function. And the next principle is authority and the responsibility. We are going to clearly specify the authority and responsibility of each and every position or activity or a job, right? So if you take each and every job, so each and every job is given authority to complete its tasks, and then there is a responsibility for each and every job. So then always authority and responsibilities go in hand. So without authority and even having responsibility, it is very difficult to complete the task, right? Fulfill the responsibility. So always there is some authority for each and every position while having the responsibility in terms of completing the task. So then the another principle is the delegation of authority. When the authority is there in the organization, when we are creating authority, that's supposed to be delegated to various the levels of the organization. So that so the delegation of authority empower each and every individual to complete their tasks. So then the principle of centralization, decentralization. So when you look at the organizing function, so the entire flow of activities of the organizations is a centralized or decentralized. So those things also we will understand in coming the classes, right? So the maybe separate the session I am just going to handle on the delegation of authority and centralization, decentralization. We'll understand so very clearly what are all these things. So it is all about controlling the all activities by just centralizing, and then only the top level people are taking certain decisions, and then the lower level people, whenever they are going to take decisions, they need permission from the higher level. So that indicates the centralization. At the same time, if you look at the decentralizations, the authority is completely delegated, and then even lower level people also can take decisions without waiting for permission from the higher officials. So that is the another dimension of this centralization, decentralizations. So further, just let us move and try to understand the organizing the process. So the process actually the starting from the mission and vision to the lower level people. So in between, when you have goals and objectives, how this organizing function is actually involving in the entire the flow. So if you look at the developing the foundation, so that starts from determination of tasks and then defining the jobs, each and job, and then defining the work relationship, right? So determining the tasks and the various jobs and defining each and every job, and at the same time defining the work relationship among all the jobs and all the tasks, right? How they are related to each other, who is working under whom, right? So their reporting relationship and all the things we are very clearly specifying here. And the second step, that is the most important thing, is the developing organizational design. So we are designing the organization completely in terms of grouping of organizational members. So as I was mentioning about the specialization, we are grouping all these things, and then developing an integrated the system, like the coordination and then networking and then relations, and then everything is completely specified, and then we are determining the focus on the decision making process. Who is taking decisions at what level, how they are going to take. Everything well defined and then clearly determined and specified in each and every job. So that is one important. And further, if you just continue the organizing process, the first step is developing and then the foundation of the organizational system. That what I was mentioning as determining the tasks and defining the jobs, and then defining the work relationship. That is the specifying the working relationship between the individuals and then work groups. How they are supposed to work each other. And then further, if you look at relationship that is there in the organizations, it is something related to the grouping of organizational members into work groups. So based on the similarities, that is what we call departmentalization and departmental creations. So developing an integrated system, that is a developing mechanism to coordinate the efforts, individuals and then work groups. So how all are working together, right, in a very systematic manner and then clearly mentioned, so they reach and every job without any confusion. So the clarity on their jobs, where they are working, how they are working, under whom they are working. So this kind of things are very clearly specified in this function. And if you look at the another important thing is determining the focus of the decision making. That is determine who makes the decisions, centralized or decentralized. So decision making is at which level? So the lower level or top level, middle level, which is centralized or decentralized decision making happens at the top level or lower level. So which level it is happening? So the clearly it is mentioned in the organizing function. So that is one important. So dimensions. So this is what about this, all about the principles and then the process of the organizing function. So with this, let me stop here this module. So thank you very much, and let us meet in the video 26. So yeah, so I hope that it is the good going, and then let us see, and the next we are going to meet in the video 26.